Welcome back to Sunrise Daily, where we turn our attention to something cheery this time. And it has to do with the economy. Well, we're joined this morning by Professor Olaseni Akintola-Bello, who is a financial economist. Thank you for coming on this morning, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Well, just getting this, looking at this cheery news where Nigeria is being ranked among Mexico, Indonesia and Turkey as the next countries tipped as the next economic powerhouses in the world. And that's very cheery. And some never saw this coming. They wonder, where is this coming from? Because remember BRICS, those countries, Brazil, Russia, China, and now Nigeria is among those countries. They say, look, they'll take this world by storm.
Well, it's a cheery news, as you said that, but I'm not too sure why we are excited, really.
Shouldn't we, if our economy is going to grow? And it should have implications for the man's pocket.
We were talking about Vision 2020. The man, Mr. O'Neill, says that 2050, you'll be part of the third 11. Yeah, I mean, Mint is third 11, isn't it? BRICS is second 11. You have the first 11, the G7. So why are we excited?
So
if you take the BRICS, what they have done practically is what we wanted to do in Vision 2020. So if we continue doing it, we will get to. We shouldn't abandon our Vision 2020 because we wanted to be by the year 2020 one of the 28th biggest economy, isn't it? So why do we need to wait for 2050 again?
So in other words, if we stay focused on our Vision 2020, we could even do better than the Mint's ranking.
Practically, the policies required to be a member of Mint or to be part of BRICS are the same policies. I mean, you can examine the BRICS, Brazil, India, Russia, China. What have they done? Take Brazil and China and India, for example. Brazil, produced within a short period of time. Really his policies, as a result of his policies, Brazil was able to produce a totally new lower middle class by eliminating poverty. So one of the things the government should do here is to embark on active poverty reduction. China also, what they have done recently is to make sure that they cut extreme poverty drastically. India is attacking poverty drastically. So and poverty, if you reduce poverty, you are growing the economy.
Prof, if I'm coming here, that issue of reducing poverty, the government is talking about poverty eradication, reducing poverty. How should they go about it in order to achieve the results you've talked about? I mean, like someone would say, the nitty-gritty. Is it job creation? Is it giving people money, stipend, so to speak, or giving them money to start up businesses? How should they go about it?
Well, as I've said, there's nothing new under the sun now. What are the other countries do? I mean, when you say stipends, for example, it means you are biased already against poverty reduction.
Because that's what some people are saying.
There are two aspects of poverty. There is income poverty and there is human poverty. Human poverty, we are making sure that people have access to basic essential things, water, that's very important, education, healthcare, that's human poverty. And a lot of our people are still, far away from having that access. Then there's income poverty, guaranteeing people minimum standard of living. All right. There is no way you want to reduce income poverty without creating jobs. If you take India, for example, India has a law, which is national law, which makes it compulsory for every Indian citizen to be guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year, whatever, just demand for it. So, that's part of the public works that our SHOP is trying to do. I'm not sure whether they are doing it correctly, but let's say they are trying to do it. So you've got to, if you look at other countries like BRICS, I mean, Brazil is noted all over the world for being a country that has been in the forefront of these stipends we talk about, which they call social safety nets. all right? You know, what they call conditional cash transfer.
Yeah.
You've got to give conditional cash transfer to people, one, you know, so that it can encourage them to send their children to school. When you see all these small children, out of school children all around, why are they in the streets selling pure water? When you look at what they are selling, you know, and you total it up, it's not even up to 1,000 naira, and so the parents send them to the streets to hawk in order to make additional income. But what a conditional cash transfer scheme will do is to encourage the students, the parents, to send their children to not to send them to the market to hawk, give them money, so that on the condition that you send them to school. So I'm not too sure whether it's stipend. And of course, we are, at least there are policies that we have initiated, that the government has initiated, that they are on the right path. It's just that we have not given it the sort of the scale it requires. Some of them have been done on a very small scale. MDG, for example, has been promoting conditional cash transfer in many states, but but you need to promote it on a massive scale,
okay,
so that it can have impact.
Looking at the economy and Nigeria's performance. Now, in all of this, we've got the Vision 2020, and we're supposed to continue with that. In all of these plans, you've been involved in budget of several states in this country. What is happening to manufacturing?
Well, I think that's an area that we have not been doing so well. And I think that, you know, people talk about the productive sectors, you know, which is the real sectors. And I think the government can only act as a catalyst in those areas. And, you know, not only the actual manufacturing, not only the formal sector, but the government should also promote the informal sector, because the informal sector holds the key to development. And when you look at the informal sector, they are so heterogeneous that the carpenters will call to come and do these repairs, the electricians will come, the people who sell things for you, the people who still sell newspapers at stores, books. And when you develop the informal sector, you develop the economy, because there's growth potential there. And I think that generally in almost all states, inadequate attention has not been given. Adequate attention has not been given to the informal sector. And we need to promote the informal sector, because when you look, even statistically, they are supposed to constitute about 70% of the
I remember sometimes we had you in the studios and you said something about our size and how positive that can transform things for us as a people. And I'm getting to see that also your colleague Professor O'Neill is also talking about size. Perhaps let's talk more on that. How does this translate into something good for us as a nation?
Well, size is important. You know, you can, in terms of consumption, in terms of production, in terms of demand. If, for example, you stimulate demand, you know, given the Nigeria's population, you stimulate the economy, because the demand for goods and services will increase. That's why I agree with him when he says stipends. If we give people stipends and they spend these stipends on goods and services, because they are not going to eat the stipends, but those stipends, they are going to have multiply effect in terms of job creation, in terms of demand for goods and services and whatever. The larger the size, the larger the volume of production, the potential for increase in output. The larger the size, the larger the potential for, I mean, if people are kept working, their disposable income will increase. Take power sector, for example. Once you increase the power, also improve the power sector, a lot of people will be able to make some little money. You know, the disposable income. Even forget about the informal sector. Take the formal sector. The cost of production will come down substantially if they are encouraged to transfer. I mean, the decrease in cost of production to the consumers.